The Summertime Gift Tempest Trials is here to accompany our first summer banner. We will be getting another Tempest Trials in the first half of July, so if you need orbs, time to get farming. As usual, for scoring the maximum 50,000 points, you can get up to 42 orbs, 11,000 feathers, and 80 sacred coins. This month we have Ephemer's 6 divine codes and a fire blessing for legendary male corner. For sacred seals, we have Threaten, Speed, and Defense, and Beast. Our reward unit is Summer Vaike, who you can get a 4-snap 5-star copy of. We'll be talking about Teach more later on. Our first sacred seal is Threaten, Speed, and Defense 2. At start of turn, inflict -4 speed and defense debuffs on all foes within 2 spaces. I believe this is our first dual Threaten sacred seal, and while that's cool, still not really enticed to spend coins on upgrading or using Threaten seals. Unlike, say, the new Beast Threaten C skill, 2-space range just isn't good enough for debuffs. I think if it procced on enemy phase, then honestly, maybe there could be a use case. Debuffs can help all allies in combat, and Threaten skills do hit all foes in range, not just the closest ones. If you want to use Threaten, then I won't stop you, but I don't think you're going to see this seal very much. Our other sacred seal is a surprise, and it's literally just called Beast. I guess the name guy took another break. The Beast Sacred Seal just lets any Beast unit transform permanently. The new Beast-specific Beast skills do the same thing, but for units like Nerthus who have unique Beast skills, obviously she can't run those. Now Nerthus can transform even next to human allies. You could say the value of this seal is making it easier to run a singular Beast in a team of humans. For example, the Heron Dancers when transformed are flying 3-movement dancers, which is pretty good. For calves like Nerthus, they can get extra attack and defense debuffs and % damage reduction if they or the foe move 2 spaces. Infantry get tempo, which can be paired with cooldown or guard abilities. The Wild A skill always procs if transformed, and a couple beast units also have extra effects tied to being transformed. As for the 3 armored beast, distant counter doesn't really need explaining why that's good. Kinagus or Formortis may want to run armored beast skills such as Weaving or Hardy Fighter. They both gain extra effects when transformed, so this beast seal can be a great tool if you also want to run Savior or just stick them next to a defensive formation with human teammates. As for she who must not be named, Flaw Edelgard, she gets Raging Storm when transformed. So yeah, her unique beast skill gives extra DR if transformed as well, but the main benefit of this beast seal could be swapping from Armored Stride to regular Armor March. She can't use Assault Troop, but that would have been another neat option. As much as I don't think Fallen 80 will get a refine, because units like Reinhardt, Surtur, Ophelia, and freaking Hector's OG Armads are still being locked out of refines. It's Edelgard, so I mean, it would not surprise me in the least if they did give her a refine just cuz. If that day ever comes, having access to this beast seal could actually be important. Last note for this seal, if you haven't noticed, the entirety of Book 8 has been filled with new beast characters. I'm sure we'll see more beast skills that allow transforming, but I'm sure this new beast sacred seal can definitely find a place. Not a Tempest reward, but from the 83rd Squad Assault released this update, you can get Squad Ace CE3, grants +5 HP and +3 flat attack and resistance. This is the same as Squad Ace BU. If you like these HP and flat stat boosters, then this is another copy. I do think these seals are worth having around, very flexible on a lot of units.
The Vaike can never lose to Crom, including at swimming. Now, where is he? Look at me. Now try to guess how many weapons I have on me. Come on, guess.
Our reward unit for this Tempest Trials is Summer Vaike. Before we begin, little tangent, it would appear that with Vaike's debut, Awakening is the first game to have all its playable cast in Fae in some form. Obviously, some units are still seasonal only, but still a neat achievement. Now, Vaike may be late, but I guess Summer Vacation lasts for a long time in Elise. He has remembered to bring his axe with him, and he will be an Axe Infantry fighter. For stats, Vaike has 46 HP, 47 attack, 33 speed, 42 defense, and 24 res. Defense has super boons if you want to boost those higher. HP is pretty high, attack is also quite high. I believe Vaike will be right behind the top among the Axe Infantry for that. 42 defense is solid, but not insane, and then 24 res is his main weakness. It's been about half a year, so we were due for our regularly scheduled Axe Fighter with middling to low speed. 33 base is certainly nothing special. You could do some fun things with Summer Reed's frozen status, but generally speaking, Vaike's gonna need some skills if you want to consistently follow up. So far, Summer Vaike is looking like your typical free-to-play Axe Infantry. His inherent weapon doesn't exactly shake that trend. Tropical Conch Plus is a 14-weight weapon, and it should seem familiar. At start of turn, if above 25% HP, grant +6 attack and defense field buffs to the unit and allies within 2 spaces. For combat, if above 25% HP, we have a couple checks to do. If it's an even turn, you get plus 5 attack and defense. On odd turns, you get plus 11 attack and defense. If the user's defense is within 5 points of the foe's defense stat, then you get full tempo effects, aka no guard and no extra special charging. If you paid attention to the banner, you would recognize Tropical Conch as a odd defense wave 4 weapon. Similar to Summer Olivia's Tome, the general weapon is like the new wave 4 skills, but in addition to extra defense, Tropical Conch will also grant bonus attack. Every turn, you get easy 2 space buffing for attack and defense. You get more attack and defense in combat with odd turns, granting a big plus 11. If you have defense somewhat close to the foe or just higher, then you get tempo. Consistent special charging is nice since infantry have lots of cooldown skills, and you can cancel any enemy breath or blade type cooldown reduction. Pair this with guard and you potentially stop all enemy specials from charging unless they bring their own no guard effect. Tropical Conch is a decent heritable axe, potentially plus 17 attack and defense for an odd turn with tempo isn't too bad. You also buff allies and you can either play into bonus W type skills, extra team buffing support, or just add cooldown perks to synergize with that tempo. Besides an amazing special artwork, Summer Vaike has a strange base kit. First off, Smite can help push allies into position, but you also push them outside of the Conch's buffing range. In this kit, Smite is used to proc Vaike's Link B skill, which is normally fine, except Vaike has attack and defense link. I don't know if I'm missing something, but generally if I have a field buffing weapon, I would probably want to fill in the missing field buffs, not the same ones. Luckily, speed and res link is easy to get if you do want to do full field buffs on Vaike and one ally. Now, to make up for his questionable other skills, Vaike brings an amazing free-to-play fodder skill with attack and defense finish 3. This skill has only been on Diamond with the tier 4. If you want some of Diamond's other skills, you can use Vaike to get the first 3 tiers, and then maybe all of Times Pulse 4 for example. In fact, Vaike himself can use those skills for a build. While attack and defense finish 3 isn't easy, plus 6 stats in combat, Vaike can't trigger its second part because he doesn't have a special. Give Teach a special, and when it's ready, that's another 5 true damage per hit. Overall, kind of a roller coaster of a base kit, some questionable choices, and then some amazing ones. If you plan to merge up the Vaike, then he'll get plus 1 HP attack and defense for the nature, that's typically fine. If you got trait fruits, that defense super boom could be fun for full physical brawling build. If you want to try and tank magic, then extra resistance would be appreciated. It's been a while since our last free-to-play axe fighter, but unfortunately for Vaike, the 3 most recent additions are all similar in stats. Fargus, Windtribe Fuga, and Summer Donald are all low 30 speed units with good attack and defense and a lower res focus. There are even more Grail units with similar spreads, but I'm just going to focus on these guys since they're recent. Fargus stands out the most thanks to his unique Corsair Cleaver. Funny enough, this weapon has a 3 space buffing range for attack and defense, and it also tacks on the regular warp status on top. It gets worse though, because while Corsair Cleaver may not grant as much attack and defense in combat, for odd turns, well, it also has a built-in tempo effect, and that doesn't require a defense check. To add more salt to the wound, the Cleaver has extended specials and a built-in free follow-up. Basically, outside the stat refine and around 6 attack and defense on odd turns, there isn't really a huge reason to use Vaike with the Tropical Conch over Fargus. Vaike may be able to get more physical bulk, but the Cleaver is easy to use and has extra effects for teammates, plus Fargus isn't that different from Vaike stat-wise. With this in mind, how does Vaike shape up to our other 2 units here? Fuga has higher defense and res, meanwhile Summer Donald has a very similar spread to Vaike. Similar HP, attack, speed, and defense, the only outlier is 7 more res, and this is because Donald is a Gen 7 trainee. This means he gets an extra pair of Dragon Flowers. Gameplay-wise, Summer Vaike is unfortunately not really bringing anything special if you want a heroic axe fighter. Comparing Vaike to the 3 to 4 star demotes, it's been a while since the last slower axe fighter was added. There are still a bunch of axe fighters who fit the similar type of stat spread, but here are a couple more recent ones. Most of the demote options actually have higher HP and a few have higher res. Basilio is probably the closest to Vaike just because he has more points and speed. Baltus is still one of the more min-maxed units for this group. He may not have as much attack or defense, but a ton more res for pure tanking. Someone to watch for is Mustafa, and this is because he should be close for a refine this year. They could honestly take him in any direction, so if you want a slower axe fighter who may sacrifice some damage for defensive stats, then keep an eye out. Vaike may have some stiff competition, but we're here to talk about what he can do if you want to use him. For budget builds, Tropical Conch offers easy access to 2 space attack and defense field buffs for your team. Reminder, this activates every turn as long as Vaike is healthy. His default attack and defense link skill is kinda redundant, but you can get speed and res link from a couple free to play sources. You can use either Smite or use another movement skill like Swap or Reposition, then both a Vaike and one ally get full field buffing. Vaike isn't the fastest or has the best res, but if you want, this can open up a bonus doubler stacking build. Groom Alchers gave us free-to-play access to bonus doubler in the A slot, and then there's the Sacred Seal. If you don't lose your field buffs, this is the most stats you can get in combat, assuming you keep full field buffs. If you want to free up the B slot, you can use Speed and Res Oath instead, but that requires Vaike to be adjacent to an ally. Now the other way to build Vaike is a traditional quick riposte setup, stacking mainly just attack and defense. His innate finish 3 is excellent, and we have an attack and defense finish 3 Sacred Seal to double up. Double finish being a quote-unquote budget build is pretty wild. Now, if Vaike has enough defense, he's going to get tempo. No guard with breath type cooldown can lead to 2 cooldown specials when getting hit. Vaike can retaliate with a Moonbow or Glimmer, and he can gain 5 true damage from finish. You could also opt for Ignis, since that's going to charge if Vaike can double. That would be a lot of damage, however Vaike himself probably is going to get double too. You could use a Breaker B skill for some player phase threat, but obviously that's for one weapon type only, such as lances. For some other skills, you could take a healing special. If you want to be risky, Wrath can add extra true damage on top of finish when specials proc. With his high base HP, Vaike can also facilitate Infantry Pulse type support. That's not bad pairing with his field buffing weapon. You can stack more HP with those Squad A's Sacred Seals, and of course the stat Refine, which why not grab even more defense. For some other stat boosters, Ideal should proc with the field buffs, and you can always run Bonds, Forms, or things like Close Defense. For premium skills, I want to touch on some support options to pair with Tropical Conch. More Link 4 upgrades could start rolling in. Infantry Pulse 4 provides cooldown to the user as well as allies. I would also keep an eye on other Wave 4 upgrades. Unfortunately, since it requires stat checks, Vaike might not be the best with, say, Oddspeed Wave 4, but you know, having no follow-up against slower foes doesn't hurt. The main idea though is just using Tropical Conch with Speed Waves so you can get 3 field buffs for the whole team. Maybe just go full support with something like a Rally Up Assist and Ruse B skill. Now, for combative builds, Vaike is in a position to take Attack and Defense Finish 4 and Times Pulse 4 from Diamant. Both are solid skills, but they also synergize with the hot new Lagu's Friend 4. Lagu's Friend is sort of the go-to for enemy phasing due to its ability to grant instant cooldown and DR piercing specials. You get flat DR and true damage scaling off defense, which the Tropical Conch plays into. You need to run 3 or higher cooldown specials, but with the Conch's tempo effect, Vaike gets no guard. When the enemy attacks, Lagu's Friend gives -2 cooldown, tanking the hit gives another -1, which allows for a DR piercing bonfire counter. If you use Times Pulse, this lets Vaike upgrade to Ignis. While No Quarter is a great special, it may not do the most damage due to its lowest attack scaling. Lagu's Friend can really let units abuse higher burst options like Ignis or Glacies. Now, if you don't go with Times Pulse or you have some outside help, Vaike can slot in other hot new skill, Breath of Life 4. While Lagu's Friend isn't impenetrable, especially without %DR sources to stack with the flat DR, if a unit can survive, this is where Breath of Life 4 can be super disgusting. In the next fight, you heal back a chunk of HP, and that may be enough to fight over and over again. It also counters instant damage, and against low defense flared strike type users, it's arguably a hard counter. If you don't want to depend on follow-ups or %DR, it's going to be tough to beat Lagu's Friend builds. If you want, Vaike can run distant counter skills, and Tropical Conch can be a nice pair with distant bonus doubler if you got full field buffs. Now, if you don't care about the Conch, there are a good chunk of decent heritable axes. Wooden Tekko inflicts -10 attack and defense if you got 40 HP and has 10 HP sustain. Wind Tribe Club gives a player phase follow-up, no panic, and uncapped attack and defense bonuses for every positive status on the user and every negative status on the foe. If you want to run Breath of Life, you can play both sides of the instant damage and instant healing game with Axe's Devotion. With higher defense, Vaike can deal instant damage equal to 30% of the foe's attack. All of these axes grant bonus attack and defense. We actually have another option with Seahorse Axe Plus that's a free follow-up on either phase. With his high base attack, Vaike can also just run any old Brave Axe build. We got a couple ninja Brave Axes to choose from. For some general skills, you can pair with any of these inheritables, including Tropical Conch. Gambit, Bulwark 4, Guard 4, or Brash 4 offer %DR. Boost A skills give Guard, same with Guard Echo, and both of those pair nicely with the Conch's tempo effect. Low attack and defense is simple to deny field buffs. Pledge or Breath Seals give lots of cooldown. Attack Smoke or Panic Smoke can be used for mixed phasing. You also got Oath 4, Menace, and there are a couple distant counter options such as Prime or the Sacred Seal. As for the 2 arcane axes, Thrima and Downfall, Thrima has debuff support and tempo, which sort of fills the same niches as Tropical Conch. It has no follow-up if Vaike can outspeed, a built-in sabotage for extra stats, and of course, Slaying. For Arcane Downfall, that combines Slaying with Breath type cooldown. You get 7 HP sustain after combat and 1 follow-up denial. No free follow-up, although Ganglet does come with Quick Repose 4 if you want that. To end this section, due to just how common DR piercing and no follow-up can be, it's tough to ignore Lagoo's friend builds at the moment. A fitting example is that literally right now in Binding Worlds, I've ran into a Brave Ike. Brave Ike has the same speed as Vaike with Max Dragon Flowers, pretty similar defense as well. He has the Resplendent for extra stats, but my point being is that this person was running a unit similar to Summer Vaike with Arcane Threema, Distant Bonus Doubler, Lagoo's Friend, and Breath of Life 4. To top it off, they went full speed with Godlike Reflexes. I respect it. Lagoo's Friend has been an insane skill for all kinds of units. In general, the emblem rings have had a huge impact on builds, and this month we are getting another emblem hero. If you don't have any immediate build plans for Vaike, I would highly recommend just waiting to see what new potential terror arise in just a bit. In conclusion, be sure to grab that new Beast Sacred Seal. We still have a whole book's worth of new fake characters to get, and pretty much everyone looks like a beast unit. You never know when that guaranteed transformation could come in clutch. As for Summer Vaike, generally speaking, he's kinda just outclassed in almost all aspects. Our last 3 free-to-play Axe Infantry are all Gen 8 with similar stat spreads. Summer done as a trainee, so he technically has even more stats. Weapon-wise, Tropical Conch Plus is an odd defense wave 4 axe that also boosts attack. It's honestly not a bad weapon, and odd turns you get a huge attack and defense boost. The only thing is that Fargus's Corsair Cleaver is kinda just the same weapon. Fargus has similar stats, so any Tropical Conch build can just be done with Corsair Cleaver, and Fargus released more than half a year ago, so anyone wanting an arena type unit already built him up. Summer Vaike unfortunately just doesn't bring enough to stand out, and free-to-play axe fighters are not exactly rare. Still, he's got some great art, and if you want to use him, there are a good amount of decent heritable axes that fit an attack and defense stat spread. There are also some good skills Vaike can make a build around, such as Lagoo's Friend or the new Breath of Life 4. If you don't plan to use Vaike, he is an incredible fodder unit. With attack and defense finish 3, that skill is pretty amazing at tier 3 even, and if you got spare Diamants, then you can get some extra skills on the side. Definitely grab Vaike even if you aren't going to use him. That's all I got to say about this Tempest Trials. We should be getting another one in a couple weeks, so keep that in mind if you need orbs. Let me know your thoughts on our new rewards, and good luck farming against the new Golvig. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.